Hi, good morning. I'm the assault on the last schedule of the day. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you very much. I always feel very comfortable talking to researchers. I do have a master's in environmental sciences from the dinosaur era. I taught at WITS for 3 years, and I think that's why when the scientists decided that it wasn't really good for Mpumalanga to have jacarandas, and the Sunday Times interpreted that as let's cut down all the jacarandas in Pretoria, Guy Preston hauled me out of the popular press and said, "Crikey Moses, you've got a qualification we need. Can you please come and help us? We need help." And really since 2000 I have been helping where scientists say some extraordinary things and they're misquoted in the press. I think the latest one was Dean Impson talking to all the fish people, where he told them that they were going to take all the trout and the bass out of 41 rivers in the Western Cape. So he needed a bit of help on that one too. We turned that into the Save the Fynbos Fish program. I'm here today really just to talk about where I'm from. Andrew is the intellectual 007 of Working for Water. I am the popular press 007 of Working for Water. And between Andrew and myself, this is how we fit into the scenario. Matter of fact, Working for Water, in actual fact, from my perspective, as you can see, is fairly low on the schedule here. It is the operation and the organisation that has the brand. But clearly the Christos and the Andrews and the Nevers and me all sit up here, and obviously we work with all of this operation. But this is a ginormous operation, absolutely ginormous, and the nurseries partnership is where they have slunk me as a 007 into, and I certainly do work on nurseries. I've got a big project at the moment with sand parks, and I have been seconded to invasive animals at the moment. So if I spent 13 years sorting out all the weeds and the plants, bear with me, I'm somewhere else sorting out mallards and feral pigs and a few other ghastly things. From my perspective, I'm going to run very quickly through it. Environmental Programmes is starting to get its brand together. Everyone who said I get funding from Working for Water actually gets funding from Environmental Programmes. We're putting together what the invasions are doing, how it's all working. We have a very big project on biocontrol this particular year. We are very excited when you give us these kind of pictures. We believe, certainly from our perspective, that there is a Springbok team. Martin Hill and his crew are certainly amongst the top of that Springbok team of your research world. We are getting into biosecurity. This is Guy's latest pet project, sniffer dogs and whatnot. So we will be heading into airports and doing sniffer dogs, and I can't wait to see how the airports are going to deal with this. We also deal with the big picture that goes for public consumption. These are the figures the Minister will present at the end of May. I don't think at any one point in time you should not realise that you work for one of the most biggest and influential organisations in the country, and this is where your funding comes from. It is not getting smaller. If you have a look at these figures here, any of you who are sad about your figures going down, yours might be going down if there's a drama, but I can assure you that this organisation called Environmental Programmes is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And as Andrew said, it is an organisation, and we operate virtually as an NGO, with or without 007s like me and Andrew lurking in the background. In terms of the face of the public, I do frivolous things. I go down to the Peter Maritzburg show and I put teams together and we play in a really steady plant and we pretend with people that we're having fun. We do put biocontrol posters up because one of my team has now been told they've got to work out what every insect that you oaks are looking at, and we're going to get pictures of them. So biocontrol is getting a lot of our focus this year. We take your plants, we stuff them up, we give them to designers, we put them into different colours. We make them look completely and utterly approachable and exciting. We don't put any academic stuff together, and we try and teach gardeners what to do. We put together Z-folds, and that Z-fold's absolutely fine, and we hand out Z-folds and we do really sort of interesting stuff. I work very closely with Alex Marsh at Sandy EDRR, who's absolutely a star, and a number of other communication people who really are working within the operation. As I said, these are the pull-ups that we've done for biocontrol recently, and stories that we put into the press. When I ask you to smile, look cheerful, wet your lips so that it's all shiny and glossy, I'm not joking. You guys need to be packaged and marketed. I put material into the newspapers. I myself still in my own capacity remain a senior columnist for independent newspapers, Saturday Star and the Weekend Argus, and little bits of what you have to say sort of appear in the public press when we think it's appropriate for it to be leaked. Other than that, I actually basically just work with you. We work a lot in Cape Town. We have target species. We put posters into garden centres. We have created a spotter network. Louise has got an unofficial City of Cape Town spotter network website, also org.za, in which she's hoping that all those very hysterical hikers, sort of Tony Rebella down, will sort of put all their stuff into the sort of spotter network and help her so that she can monitor how things, where they are and how they can be removed. This is actually being repeated in Durban, and eThekwini is putting a spotter network into their operation now. Who's interested in invasive species? Basically, over and above the sort of talking to the ladies, doing the garden and home route, Cape talk, all that kind of thing. Who's interested? I see it like a long tail, and this is the long tail of the iTunes. Obviously, Madonna, lots being sold like Madonna. Kind of popular bands at the bottom, not popular bands. This long tail is basically lots and lots of people are interested in Justin Timberlake. Not many people are interested in your roommate's band. From my perspective, invasive species are around about your flatmate's band. Which means that we have a tough job, we really do. Sometimes the television programs, and obviously we have David Falloon here from Mnet, who's a producer who I've brought along. Television reaches quite a few people, magazines less so. Billboard in certain towns, very geographically spread out, pamphlets. Peter Maritzburg show might do a couple of 20, 30,000. Posters, go to schools, workshops, you might be talking to 10 people. But we need to do more. You guys are doing incredible things, and this is not sufficient. So, what are we going to do? I work in the media. Now, if you have never heard about this little drama going down in South Africa, honestly, go back into your hole and do more insects. Otherwise, if you have heard about it, what is interesting for you and what's interesting for me is this is the first social media drama that's jumped into the South African psyche. This is not a story that journalists put together. This is a story that was launched on Twitter. Somebody knew a plane was coming in. Somebody was going to a wedding. They tweeted it. A journalist picked it up. A journalist went to the airport. A journalist went and saw the plane. The girl that got attacked in the Sun City room and molested by one of the members of the wedding party tweeted that she got attacked. The waiter that said that he was not allowed to serve anyone because he was the wrong gender and the wrong race, tweeted it. And most of the stories were picked up on Twitter. So we have got to go online. This is the answer for invasives. We have to be our own journalists. Don't bother inviting journalists to a convention. Don't bother wasting your time with newspapers that are actually going to be absolutely obsolete in 10 years' time and not exist in paper format. Don't worry about radio people. We have to do our own operations. 10 years ago, Volkswagen got rid of all the advertising executives and they set up as their own marketing agenda. And we have to do the same. We have to be invasives.org.za, and for all of us, anything that any of us do have to go out onto the system. Why and how do we do that? You've got to look at the figures. And you are scientists, so I thought I would talk science to you. I'd talk figures to you and terrify you. There are 1.78 billion PC units in the world. PCs are going out. They are completely flatlining. We're not selling any more PCs anymore. That's old technology. There are 6 billion mobile phones in the world, which means that 67% of the world owns mobile phones. But they're expecting that there will be 7.4 billion phones in the next, basically 24 months, and that's more than the world's population, by far. In South Africa, they reckon that 117%, now I don't have to tell you what that is. You're all scientists, you know about the sense and statistics, I've been watching them all week. But it basically means that, what, 1 in 5 South Africans own 2 phones? That's basically what it means. Mobile is there, and mobile is where it's going. In terms of internet time, PCs are obsolete. PCs are old for old people. If you got a PC, please be aware that in 5 years' time you won't be able to buy one. Okay? So quickly hang on to them or buy 3 if you've got a problem. In terms of the total internet, this is PCs are still 63% for the total internet, but 37% of the internet is basically being grabbed by the mobile market. And the mobile market will obviously, it's the big mobiles with the big screens, right the way through to the Androids, to the iPads and whatever. Newspapers, 62% of newspapers are basically now downloaded onto mobiles rather than even going to, forget the old paper stuff that we grew up with, that's gone. So the point is that we have to talk to people, they have to have it accessible. People have to know what's going on, and this is how we're going to get it to them. How do we do it? Invasives have got to get very with it. They've got to have websites. We also are at org.za. Andrew's talked to you about working for water.org.za. There are obviously Philip's Sandby operation, and there are several others. Leslie has the most incredible e-newsletters going out. She was ahead of her time in putting them out. They still go out there. We're starting to put an invasives one out, again, completely and utterly funded by environmental programs. 2 weeks ago, we put a Google group together. There are 250 people on it. We've basically taken the people we know. If we have your permission, we will take every person who attended this convention and put it onto that Google group. It means that if anything appears in the media on invasives, you will get a Google group message. Be aware. If you reply to that Google group message, you're replying to 300 people. So, love you K, bugger off K, or not for what you put when you reply to that particular message, okay? Facebook's been huge. We have 2 interns in our office, and in actual fact, our interns get fantastic jobs when they leave us. A year of in my office, and they double their salaries and they go somewhere else. So as of last Thursday, we have a second position for an intern. Our Centuri Palais went on to an air pollution company. And we do have a space in our office if you know anybody who wants to become biocommunication intern for a year. Sancheri and Lunga have worked on the Facebook, and it is being very successful, very much on an international basis. When invasives are fitting in the long tail of the long tail, they have to work internationally. And internationally we work on Facebook. Twitter we haven't quite got going, but we have to get it going. The Gupta operation has showed you that Twitter is the way to go. And YouTube is our first experiment here, whereby we are following what the National Museums of South Africa did, whereby we are taking videos of you. We will take your PowerPoint presentation on YouTube. Your PowerPoint presentation goes up, and in between will be the best shots of you standing here looking intelligent with your thing behind it. Very simple technology, low tech, probably sort of 10, 12 minutes, quite low resolution, but it means that if anybody wants to read or hear the presentation that you gave at this convention, it is available, downloadable on their mobile anywhere in the country. This is our invasives.org home site. Again, we have metropolitan areas. We too, like Andrew, are trying to put together resources. I think Andrew's are the ones that you'll be far more interested in because they're far more high level. But as Andrew said quite rightly, the legislation's got to go up, all sorts of things have got to go up. And my team are battling. Last thing I saw, they put up 14 PDF papers on parthenium, because obviously one of the things we're dealing with is parthenium at the moment. We have a section of the websites on Caretime invasives, and we're working a lot on what they're doing there. In terms of Caretime, we've obviously got the spotter network there. We've got the media. If anything appears on invasives, we put it up for there for people to see. We have just launched Durban invasives. We're working with Errol Dowles in eThekwini, and we will be putting up a lot of the material that they've got. They are also needing an alternative to the City of Durban giant website. For the education of general level people, our interns have basically got fairly reasonable, readable, conversational type sort of write-ups on each of the invasive species. We are at the moment working on the animal species. Warren Schmidt, my colleague who works with me in the office and who's ex-Sun City Crocodile Farm and ex-Sun City Transvaal Snake Park, he has the animals under control, I don't. And of course the Facebook page. 2,900 people are watching this news stream basically every day. And if we go to meetings, my staff take pictures of the Cactus Working Group. It was the pictures of the Cactus Working Group on Facebook which alerted the Australians to the fact that South Africa had a Cactus Working Group, and that, gee whiz, wouldn't it be wonderful to go and have an international Cactus Working Group? So, in terms of your world, the international world is probably more important than who's watching you in South Africa. If you want to be a top researcher, you need to be here and you need to be acknowledged by the rest of your people in the world. Because as a world community, Invasives is quite large. As a South African community, we fill a hall. In terms of the invasives, I must say thank you to some of the researchers who help us enormously. 2 weeks ago, we put up a picture of Mike Picker and Charles Griffith's book. We put up a review by Nicola van Vulken, and of course we got sort of some reasonable things saying no. Does this mean that the bugs that all those biocontrol people are rearing are going to go and eat our other things? And literally on a Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock, there's Costas answering for me. To say, listen, you got the wrong end of the stick, old chum. Biocontrol is absolutely very wonderful, and don't you take a crack at it. Which is what I need. Thank you very much, and we need that help. Sandy Lloyd is a regular on our Facebook page. She puts all the links to the South African, the Weeds Australia material, which is very useful. This is a cow that's actually been eating lantana in Zimbabwe, and we have quite a bit of contacts with the Zimbabwe Facebook page. So from our perspective, the Facebook pages like the Pacific Islands, Hawaii, New Zealand, Australia, believe it or not, Ireland is very active. And obviously the Americas. But the Americas are very fish gone mad. Their big thing is fish, and that's, you've got to be a fish man to really cope with their invasive nonsense. We try and make it as, appear to the public as best we can. Lunga, who works in my office, is a sports mad fan, so I have no idea when Bafana's playing, but he does. And clearly we do try and make extraordinary links, like linking, these plant pepper trees to Bafana. We usually get some rude comments, but that's the point. When Ian Patterson gives us incredible pictures of Pereskia, it goes up. Every time one of these goes up, at least 400 or 500 people are said to actually open the page and have a look. I have no idea who those 400 or 500 people are, but the point is that 400 or 500 people actually dare to open the jolly page and see what's going on. We do a lot of work in terms of the Deputy Minister. We have a joke in our office. Rejoice and Lucas are a team of note. Lucas is our photographer. Rejoice is more officially known as the Deputy Minister of Department of Environmental Affairs. And the two of them go around the country, and Lucas has become her official photographer. So if you see Lucas and the Deputy Minister disappearing into a wetland, you know that he's basically instructing her that he needs her to be in a wetland to promote invasives for us. What do we need from you? You are hallowed Springbok team of researchers. What do we need from you? We need you to just appreciate that we're now in a world of lots of pictures and lots of people who are interested in what you're doing, and you have to slightly think about what you're doing for us. I've gone through basically the last 2 days, pulled out the most outstanding pictures that have been presented by you, and I want you to look at it. If you're a student, look at it. This is what you basically are aiming for, and obviously if you're one of the 5 or 6 real Springbok team heavyweights in the room, we applaud you, we honour you, and we are very grateful that you exist. Water lettuce on the Sabi, you can't get a better image like that. That tells the public what's going on. Caretime, the Black River, that really tells everybody what's going on. Chandre's pictures are outstanding, Black River stuff is magnificent. The KwaZulu-Natal team, Denise Gillespie's presentation. Again, I'm not entirely sure whether this was actually the pond that was in that San Marino or San something or other park, but nevertheless, fantastic. This is the stuff we can use. Llewellyn's stuff, the guy's stuff from that Chromalina, where Guy put that overlay onto the Chromalina, it's probably the best part of 10 years old. It is an enduring image. We use it all the time. It is outstanding. If we can do that with more species, we can show people how much plants are actually taking over, and it's certainly something to think about. In terms of how you measure the stuff, we have a lot of doubters, like there are on climate change. We need to show the people how we measure it. That was a particularly outstanding image to show how the actual scientists actually work out these jolly things. Again, aerial shots. This was from Chandre's presentation, and again you can see those are the little piles of Roy-Krantz. I do a lot of social conflict control and mediation with the invasives, because obviously I'm the person who's sent out as a 007 to sort out all the people when they complain about what the implementation teams are doing, and never says, get on your bus and go and see these funny people, which I do. These particular pictures, fantastic. Choking rivers. This is what we're dealing with. That's the kind of stuff that can't be used in newspapers. It would just disappear into nothing. But still, very useful. Aerial shots. Not all of us can take aerial shots, but obviously we will use these aerial shots. This really explains a lot to a lot of people, I'm quite sure. If we're getting on to the top team of Springbok guys now, we were terribly excited with this, linking plants to how much water they take and what they do. Of course, we'll probably have to sort of work out what the hell's going on there next week, but the point is I really think this is down a road which might help. These are particularly good a page. You've got the fact that wetlands are incredibly problematic. Here's a picture to say where they might be threatened, and a couple of facts. A lot of you put way too much words on a page. Do be aware that people cannot read anything more than font, anything less than font 24 on a PowerPoint presentation is a waste of time. It should all be font 28, and certainly you shouldn't be having as much copy as you have. Might look good for you when you're doing it. Visually, you're doing yourself a disservice. Now we're in the Springbok team. Okay, this is what you aim for. Geographical areas, what's happening in every area. Most of you would have done 6 or 7 slides. Hildegard Klein has put them all on one, and that is a world-class, outstanding page. That's what you aim for. But you need the pictures before you can aim for it. So when you're walking around, think of the pictures, think of what you have to take. You have to take those pictures so that you can put them in the presentation. This one again. Close-ups, far-aways, what the jolly things are. That's probably 32, 36. Readable, identifiable, superb communication. Another of the Springbok team. This was exciting because in actual fact the word stranglers. We can use stranglers in the media. The stranglers are coming to Margate. We get a front page newspaper story out of that. We need to put you on the front page. Again, world-class layout. Very easy to see and a fantastic word. Obviously Leslie is a legend, has always been a legend, and we, between Leslie and Hildegard, they really are regarded as national treasures. And if you're a junior researcher, please regard that. Don't waste their time by sending them your stuff. Make sure it goes through 3 people before it's sent to them. They're very busy people, they're a national treasure, and if you send them stuff with 3 corrections that you did last night for 20 minutes, you will get a fat club. You do realize that. Again, another part of the Springbok team, Professor Hoffman from UCT. If you see a shot like this, take it. Now this is genius because he's gone and put branding in here as well. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. I mean, the guy's an absolute gem, what can I say? But the colour, the location, I mean, these are the pictures that we need to sell you. Again, first class, absolutely world-class material. World-class story and a world-class layout for what he's done. Again, telling exactly what's happening. There is nobody that couldn't possibly have not known what was going on with those pictures and those graphics. We need more of that. Look, learn, kiss his toes, he's a hero. You can't beat a picture like that. You can get on the front page of the Argus. You can go onto every YouTube. That's where it's happening. I always said working on fire a lot easier to market than working for water. Because that's drama. That really is. Finally, show people that they can join in. I know that you're only dealing with the rust on the lantana and it's like, you know, in a small square in the back of Polokwane. But if you want people to keep the show on the road, you've got to include people. And so the pictures of people, if you see people in a yellow shirt and you don't take a picture, I hope I come to haunt you in the middle of the night. Because quite frankly, we need pictures of yellow shirts. And we need pictures of people with their full health gear on. Please don't send me pictures with them not having all the health gear that they've got on. Fun pictures. The most awesome picture I've ever seen. 10 out of 10. Mozambique. I need more of them. Please, I don't want shadows of yourself, hey? Out the picture. Bloody hell. Fantastic. That said more than the entire presentation that she put together. It's the way to go. Involve the people. Show what a nightmare. We are social. We're an NGO. We're clearing up all this rubbish for you. Show that people are working. Show that in actual fact they're putting the booms together. And show that in actual fact we're not doing this by ourselves. I had a good smile when I heard implementation and biocontrol researchers were being put together. I don't know what the reality of it is, but from my perspective as a communication person, it works as a press release. People are interested in your work. Make it visual, make it work. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, from my point of view, I think it's inspiring that you are batting for us. It's superb, because that was marvellous. So thank you very much. Here we go.
What's the easiest way for everybody to send you their pictures? How would you like to get them?
I think what you've got to do is, the first thing you've got to do is you've got to learn how to use Dropbox. I'm always surprised how many researchers do not know how to send large files. You guys deal in large files. Learn how to use large files. I'm very accessible. I am at invasives.org.za. I am on team, and certainly a short email to me on invasives.org.za and I will reply to you. Otherwise, obviously, my own personal email is k@wordlink.co.za, and anyone has access to me. I am enormously accessible. You'll find me in every newspaper on Saturday Star and Weekend Argus every Saturday.
Okay, I think the work that we've been talking about is that I think for them to write was really a cracker, and I'm happy that we're still hanging there to make to see the changes. And it's a challenge for the researchers to make sure that for them, to make sure that people are seeing these things, they need to make use of yourselves, guys.
That's the boss, by the way.
I've got a couple. I'm going to have to change my cell phone. and that's like selling the Renault 5. You've changed my life. No. I wouldn't make it onto this.